Turn it on, Cliff Live tonight. Latest news, it's feeling right. Kamala speech so tight, yet no answers in our sight. Trump is shouting wild and loud, felon tales beneath the cloud. Cats and dogs beware, my friend. Springfield rumors never end. Cliff Live bringing news to you. Tune in now, it's fresh and true. Politics with humor strong. Stay informed and sing along. Headlines coming fast and free, comedy in what we'll see. Kamala dances round the press, questions left in quiet stress. Trump's wild claims make us think, cats and dogs on Pizza Rink. In Ohio, who can tell? News and laughter mix so well. Cliff Live bringing news to you. Tune in now, it's fresh and true. Politics with humor strong. Stay informed and sing along. Trump is shouting wild and loud, felon tales beneath the cloud. Cats and dogs beware, my friend. Springfield rumors never end. Cliff Live bringing news to you. Tune in now, it's fresh and true. Politics with humor strong. Stay informed and sing along. Turn it on, Cliff Live tonight. Latest news, it's feeling right. Kamala speech so tight, yet no answers in our sight. Trump is shouting wild and loud, felon tales beneath the cloud. Cats and dogs beware, my friend. Springfield rumors never end. Cliff Live bringing news to you. Tune in now, it's fresh and true. Politics with humor strong. Stay informed and sing along. Headlines coming fast and free, comedy in what we'll see. Kamala dances round the press, questions left in quiet stress. Trump's wild claims make us think, cats and dogs on Pizza Rink. In Ohio, who can tell? News and laughter mix so well. Cliff Live bringing news to you. Tune in now, it's fresh and true. Politics with humor strong. Stay informed and sing along. Trump is shouting wild and loud, felon tales beneath the cloud. Cats and dogs beware, my friend. Springfield rumors never end. Cliff Live bringing news to you. Tune in now, it's fresh and true. Politics with humor strong. Stay informed and sing along.
Madam Vice President, thank Madam Vice President,
Shut up, Mike.
Madam Vice President.
There's this one. Yeah, but it's like it's not coming through this mic. There's nothing. It's coming through like something. What the hell is going on? What is this? That's... Hold up. Oh my god. Let's see. What is this? This guy, maybe. This guy? This guy. There it is. Right? Okay. Hell. That was... So, what I did... Well, let me turn this audio off too. Using it to see if I could hear myself. But what I was trying to do is I downloaded this extension into OBS, and it must have messed up my mic settings. So let me make sure it's still... Yeah, I'm using the Evo 4 mic. Okay, what's the other one using though? Mic. Can I use both of those? Mic line 2.5. Mic line a half 5. Is it mic line? This one. This is what it should be. But the question is, does that fuck up the audio? Let me hear. Should be good. Crisis averted. All right, I think we're good. Anywho, Paul's doing a 420 break. All right. Is anyone able to hear on Twitch? I didn't even check Twitch. Twitch should be good. It's all through OBS. So it should be the same settings. Yeah, so what I did is I installed this plugin that's supposed to help me get vertical video easier. And I think it just messed with the mic settings. But yeah, it should be good now. It looked like you were going on a good spell there. I don't even know what I was talking about, to be honest. I was waiting for people to show up. I was probably BSing, just waiting for the notifications to go out. Maybe I was talking about this Kamala video I'm going to watch. Hot damn, that was rough. Anyway, how are you doing, man? It's been probably about a week since I talked to you or so. Everything good? Yeah, it looks like this app is still running good, so. It like added a whole nother window over here that I had to set up, and I guess it jacked up the mics, but you know, that's streaming. You tweak one setting and like a million others get messed up. That's just kind of how it goes. Anyway, my plan was to watch this video with Kamala. That's what I was probably going on a spiel about. So I haven't watched it. It's Fox News. So see how it goes. Make sure my record function actually works. All right, so this is going to be a Kamala Harris interview. This is the first sit down she's doing with Fox News. So you know it's going to be a spicy one. It's by this guy here, Brett. And supposedly he holds her accountable with some things. So we'll see.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad.
That started off pretty good. All of them. All of them. It's amazing how both sides think they won on X. I haven't looked at X yet. That's just kind of how it goes usually, though. They're like, oh, Kamala did great, and this interviewer was a total asshole. He was asking such wrong questions, blah, 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 blah. But this is a fair question. This is something people want to actually hear.
Glad you raised the issue of immigration, because I agree with you. It is a
a disaster. That's what it is.
Topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a
which
number?
is-
She's going to talk about the bipartisan border bill that actually wasn't about the border.
Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point.
Border bill upcoming, drinks are ready, locked and loaded, ready to go. I'm going to be wired by the end of this.
Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that
Yes.
needs to be repaired.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that
Well, no,
85%
I'm
of
not
apprehensions.
I'm not finished.
And your party spent several years calling Donald Trump a racist because he realized that our immigration system was broken.
We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy.
Who built the cages, Joe? Who built the cages?
They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, The first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act.
Do we count that? The first bill? She didn't technically say it yet, but you know it's coming. It's definitely coming.
Before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Ooh. The first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was.
And flood our money into different countries.
Called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the elite. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had the White House.
You have to not ramble on about things that are not relevant. That's what you have to do.
The House and the Senate,
and they didn't bring up that bill. I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
You're talking in circles is what you're doing, wasting time. Just don't show up. If you're just going to waste people's time, just don't show up. Please.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has...
Wasn't the first action taken to revoke Trump's border actions? Yes, that's what they were running on. It was how Trump was a racist and how he was fighting off the immigrants, and he's just not letting people come into this country, and he was so bad, but yet his wife is an immigrant, and he couldn't even, he couldn't even just accept that his wife was an immigrant and realize that immigrants were good.
Been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border.
All right, pull up the chart. We need the immigration chart just to show her that she's not helping. Nothing that she's done has helped at all. Reminder that everything wrong and dystopian in our society is happening to ensure that people with more money than they can ever possibly need are able to keep getting more money as quickly as possible. You're probably not wrong, man. You're probably not wrong.
That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
Six Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he...
She is rambling on with her typical script, and it's not working here. If you're doing an interview, you're having a conversation, it's not just... You just run off like a chihuahua. Like, that shit doesn't work. It just makes you look stupid. You need to have a conversation. That's what an interview is. You ask questions, you don't just ramble on for paragraphs at a time. Most of these answers that she should be saying are really simple. They're really just simple answers. You could answer with a couple sentences what you actually feel. Remember when they wanted to reduce border agents because of that pick with the horse reins? Pepperidge Farm remembers? I remember a bunch of total issues that they were doing with the cages and all this, just painting Trump as a racist. And then they ran on that they were the great people that wouldn't allow this to happen. A bunch of BS, man.
Prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you,
but actually is focused on fixing it.
Six Democrats.
Brett wouldn't have interrupted her like he does her. I mean, she's running on though. Like, she's not really answering the questions. So I mean, Trump never rambles. Yeah, I'm with you. Trump rambles. Oh, he rambles a lot. I'll give you that. But when she gets going, man, she's a chihuahua. She really is just barking, and it's a lot of it's not relevant or just blatantly false. And that's where he needs to interject and say, actually, this is what's happening. Respond to the actual issues. Don't just ramble on with your typical speech. Like, this is not a rally for you. This is not where you take the podium and I'm speaking. No, this is not you just holding your event. This is an interview. This is a conversation back and forth. You don't just take the floor and just BS your way through it by answering one question.
Voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats.
Here they are.
But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill.
My chihuahua's giving you dirty looks. Nothing against dogs, man. I love dogs.
Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened.
So we do remember Trump holding his, I guess you wouldn't really call that a rally because there wasn't people there. It was just like a news conference, I guess you would call it, where he brought out the families of the people who actually died, showing that it was a real issue and it wasn't just this big conspiracy theory about how these immigrants are doing bad things in the country.
This is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Absolutely.
There is no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock.
It's not just about the border agents. It's about all the people that you're just importing into the country, allegedly being through a legal process. It's, if you look at the amount of immigrants coming into the country, you can't just say, oh, if we had more border agents, that wouldn't be a problem. It doesn't work like that. Actually, he's looking for more snacks. Well, definitely give Doggo a treat. That's what he needs. It's amazing to see Bernie gradually fight against Kamala. I haven't seen that. I haven't really heard anything about Bernie in a long time.
Trying to hold it all together,
Madam Vice President,
to ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
The issue is that the problem is going up because of your leadership. It's not about Trump if he wants to fix the issue or not. It's that looking at the policies that you're doing now is making it worse.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Yeah, here we go.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungari's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about...
She's not sorry. Look at her. She don't give a fuck.
What is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
No way. Crossings are not down. No way. Because we saw the immigration chart. It's huge. Under her, immigration has gone up crazy numbers. especially looking after Trump being more tight on the border and immigration in general and the illegal crossings. Like, immigration is very high right now. Bernie is keeping mostly quiet because he doesn't want to get Clinton. That makes sense.
But do you want to answer?
In all fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett. Well, that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question.
But
there were
that's how the
90
system
plus
works.
executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United States,
I'll go out on a limb and say that she is more empathetic than 45. I don't think it's that she's more empathetic. It really comes down to the position of like what we're talking about. Neither one of them are really empathetic. I think both of them probably don't care about us, really. Just saying. What's the good word? What's going on, Corporal Fly? I'm back from another 4 days of working to stream, to do the thing that I actually like doing. So I'm here watching the politics and getting caught up. Wait, now we need more law and order. Wasn't it abolish the police before? Yes, she's on video saying she wants to abolish the police. Even Trump's chart doesn't show what he claims it does. Where's the chart? Pull it up. Where's the chart? I was trying to find it. Trump's immigration chart. Chart. He pulls it up on every rally. Why can't I find a picture of it? How Trump's credits immigration, blah, 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 blah. Where are we at? Oh, here it is. Okay, here's his chart. This is the one he always talks about. And of course, I click it and it didn't work correctly. And now I got to add. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me see this bad boy right here. So this is Trump's chart. This is where he's showing, and granted, this is Trump's chart, so maybe the numbers aren't correct, but this is the one that he always shows, so we're rolling with that right now. This is when he left office, and this is when everything went up. Now, granted, you're right. COVID would have stopped, around here, or stopped people from coming in around this time. And then, of course, they would have opened back up. But even just looking into his presidency, you can see that he being Joe, let hella more people in, and to include Kamala, under their leadership. Look at this shit. Boom. That's quite a few people, Now, you could look at that and say, oh, that's Trump's chart. I don't believe those numbers are accurate, but it's being fact-checked by the Washington Post, which is known for not liking Trump. So, there we go. That's what I have to say about it. How's the interview? So far, they're doing like Trump got at the National Association of Black Journalism. This is pretty much her version of that so far. Like, he's ripping into her pretty bad, and they're talking over each other. It's not very good. Paul, I think she plays empathetic better. Neither one cares about anyone. Yeah, she tries to come from the motherly angle and pretend that she's empathetic, but I don't think she is. And I don't think Trump is either. I don't think they really care about us at all. Just my opinion. But anyway, let's get back into it. Here we go.
That's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
That's not even close to what was asked. Not even close.
Decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
But let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara cartel, to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety
There she goes back to that rhetoric. Going back to her rally campaign speech, that no one cares about because it's not a campaign speech, just as an interview. If neither care about us, I would rather have the one that doesn't care that had lower gas prices. There's no disagreeing with that. There really isn't. You guys would like Hal, I think. Yeah, throw me the link, and after we get through this one, I'll put it up here.
The American people.
Or wait,
cross
because it's going to go away in the chat, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe I can scroll up. I don't know. Whatever. Do what you want. We'll figure it out.
our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally, and I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
What?
For prisoners. For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Come on. There's no way. What is she talking about? How is that a thing? They're prisoners. They barely get medical care.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aide said that he never advocated for that prison policy, and no gender transition surgeries
you got to
happened
take
during
responsible for what happened
presidency.
in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in
so
black and white.
would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment surgeries?
I will follow the law, just as I
But you have
I
a
think
say.
We're asking for your opinion because you are trying to be the president. It's not about following the law. That's not an answer for anything. This lady pisses me off so much. That's not an answer. Tell us what you want. What is your leadership going to do?
Trump would say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think he spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters.
Sure, because that's your opponent. You can say he's trying to sling mud, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But just tell us, is that what you believe? Is this what you want to spend money on? Just answer the question. Don't defer to Trump.
He actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas, at $20 million on that.
Whereas I will get sex change surgery for prisoners because that's what the American people need.
On an issue that as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
On
it was
plans for
different,
the
but
American
we'll move
people,
on.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people
inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Why do you think more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
I think
Because they're looking at the results. We've had Trump. The economy was booming. Even if you say that's BS, it wasn't because of Trump's policies, right? You could still, most people are going to look at it and say, okay, under Trump, I was killing it. I was making hella money. I could afford my groceries, and under Kamala, I can't. Even if just by luck of being elected during that time is the reason why that occurred, that's what a lot of people are going to do. It's just how it's going to go. How is Trump going to bring down gas prices and inflation? I mean, he had a plan about not using the reserves that we've been using. Maybe that would help with having product on hand. I don't know what his plan is for gas. Honestly, we'd have to look it up and look into it. But yeah, I don't have that on hand. Remember remember first time home buyers can get $25K. Too bad no one can afford a house, and that extra $25K would only increase housing costs. Exactly, and which is it's what she's talking about. She's also talking about increasing the supply of homes, which would hopefully bring down the prices. So maybe that would help if we're trying to give her something here. But it just seems unrealistic that we're just gonna have so much of a greater supply. Drill, baby, drill. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of his package there, is to drill even more. Even though they've reversed policies now to go back to Trump policies to drill, his plan is to drill even more, which would obviously help with gas prices, of course. Riding on Obama's economic. I mean, if that's something you want to think of, sure, I guess. If that's how you see it, maybe. Either way, you can logically think, like, maybe he was riding on Obama's coattails, and somehow he got this great economy from him. Most people are going to look at this and say, during those 4 years, I was killing it. And they're going to say, well, it must have been because of Trump. And they're probably going to vote for him because of it.
that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as President of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe
You can think of it like this. Say you take a job and that job doesn't want to promote you because in the background, that job, the business doesn't have the money. They don't have the funding at the time. Maybe they're not selling as many products, that kind of thing. And you go to a different job and that job gives you a promotion because really that they were just having a good year. They were selling all these products. Most people are still going to look at that job and go, oh, this job cares about me more because they give me a promotion. It's kind of the same thing. Just to not even get into the politics of it, of which policy helped whoever, just to not even get into that, your average person who doesn't have time for politics is just going to look at that and go, oh, I got a raise here. This job is better.
The American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future.
Chart a new way forward, even though I've been in office already.
And a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a
Got her.
Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Come on, let's turn the page.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So
we're not turning the page.
you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences.
All right, nobody cares about that bullshit. The question you were asked is, what do you want to do differently? You can't just sit here and go, oh, well, I'm a different person. I will do things differently. What are you going to do differently? That's what people want to know. That is the question. Answer the fucking question.
My professional experiences and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. For example...
Here we go. All right. For example, let's do this.
I'm someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that...
That's not a policy. That's not a policy. I'm going to listen to people's ideas. Okay. Everybody does that. They still have their own biases. It doesn't matter. That's not an answer.
I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the...
Back to her campaign speech. Pivot right back into everything that she's always said. Go back to the comfort zone. We are producing more oil ever after Biden threatened companies to use the drilling permits or lose them. I didn't know that. I know we were not at one point, and then they went back to more drilling. I don't know if they're doing more, but it could be true, and that would make sense because we need that. We need lower gas prices. We need the money that comes from it. We used a lot of reserves when it came to oil, so I'm sure we need to replenish that. So that would make sense. Look up the history of Republican and Democratic economies. Ours fuck it up every time. I mean, it's hard to say. Really hard to say. Guess she just has concepts of a plan too. And yeah, and Corporal Fly, when you say that, we can trash Trump too, because that was a terrible answer. When they asked him, what are you going to do? Do you have a plan? And he said, we have concepts of a plan. What kind of answer is that? That's the worst answer he could have gave. Really. It's terrible. Awful answer. You didn't prepare for a question like that. Like, that should be the first question. What are you going to do? Do you have a plan? And then you spill into your campaign speech like she's doing right here. That should be like day one shit. But he said, oh, I have concepts of a plan. Come on. Like, really? Really? Did you actually say that? Trump is just beyond. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you there.
The issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So
mic drop right there. That's the mic drop.
What are you turning the page from?
Well, first of all,
from myself.
Turning the page from the last decade.
Kamala 2.0.
In which we have been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that...
We have been burdened by what has been. Dude. She's not doing well here, really.
Has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know.
Do you think you're going to change that? You're not going to change anything. People are animals. They're always going to have some team that they hate. That's how humans work. You're either with them or you're against them, and that's how it's always going to be.
The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than
I did find Hal's post on X regarding the immigrant chart. We'll check it out, man. We will definitely check that out.
70% of people
that is
tell
about turning the
pollsters-
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than
people
70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them.
Yeah.
Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
What does that have to do with anything? She tried to pivot back to Trump. What is she talking about? What is her problem? Running for office and being in office are not the same thing.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
Yeah, you, come on. You know you fucked up there. Now how are you going to pull yourself out of this one? Come on, let's hear it.
Both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
We have no idea what you're talking about, lady.
What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries.
Yeah, she's not going to answer that shit. Guessing you have a day off. I get every Friday off. That is one of the benefits of this new job. It's pretty cool. I have flex hours as long as I'm there during the core hours, which is like 9 to 3 or something. I have a 4-day work week. As long as I get 40 hours in, they are cool with it, and I'm there during the core hours. So far, so good. So far, so good on this new job. I can't complain too much.
National Security Advisor and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is...
It's not as cool as staying at home and streaming all day, I'll tell you that. That's definitely not as fun as that. But I wouldn't expect it to be.
dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him instead of the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is
right, but why is it not easy? Why do these people not like you? That's the question.
It's not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting...
Because you do have enemies within. When you have people actually trying to censor free speech and people are jumping on board with that, yeah, you're my enemy. If you want to silence me in any way, you're my enemy. You will always be my enemy. If you're using political power to silence other people, you are an enemy. It's true. What do you want, lady?
He would turn the American military on the American people.
All right, that's just false. That's just something you pulled out of your ass.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within, that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that
No,
specific...
that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
He didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know.
Yes, he's talking about an enemy within, which is using the courts to go after him. That's what he's talking about. You can not agree with it and not be on Trump's side and think that he's actually doing these criminal actions. That's fine, but that's what he's referring to. Trump's been pulling the strings of our leadership regardless if he's in office or not. Yeah, I think you could probably say that. He has a heavy influence on the Republican Party. That's fair. I'll give her that to some extent, but the way she answered the question was terrible. To just say, "Oh, he's running for office," like that's kind of a kind of answer to that question. Enemies within says the party to platforming. Wait, what? Enemies within says the party to platforming on saving democracy. Oh yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. But that was the specific question that was asked of her. So I get the angle she's coming from. He played the wrong clip. You think so? Really? I mean, that seems like that would have been a reasonable answer to the question that he asked, but maybe. I don't know. I didn't fact check it or anything. This is my first time watching this interview, so maybe.
That he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America...
Isn't that what your party is trying to do to him now?
...should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And
Trump controls the Republicans like Obama's, Clinton's, and Pelosi controls the Democrats. Yeah, I think that's fair to say too. Absolutely. So if that was her claim for saying, oh, he's running as well, well, the question was really about her being in office. I get where she's coming from. That wasn't specific to the question, but if we're going to link all the dots together, then yeah, that's fair. Sure.
This is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump...
the significance of that.
You call Donald Trump... he's misguided. You say now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
I've been through all the analysts. Brett apologized. Let's look that up after this. I want to see that too. I want to see where the fact checking is.
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making.
He was an experiment.
Very important decisions.
The experiment failed.
On behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
after George Clooney said...
This interview seems like a missed opportunity. For what exactly? What are we missing? Listening to her speak all these years, how was she ever a successful DA? God knows. I thought it was George Soros.
And within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser, that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best...
Yeah, that wasn't the question. We were asking about when you were supporting Biden, knowing that he had mental issues and was declining, and you refused to accept it. That shows bad faith in your character. Because how can we believe you on any issue now? Because we know you're going to say what you're told to say.
Including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out, even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, two more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Oh gosh, she's gonna say Trump, isn't she?
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
What was wrong with that answer? Obviously Iran doesn't like us. What? Okay, what's he gonna say?
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI.
I mean, China would be a good answer too, but right now, China's not throwing missiles at people either.
Director had said that, but you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the #1 threat?
Okay.
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion, that Iran posed a threat to Israel. I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself, and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
but those
is,
proxies
and,
were getting
and
funded
my
by
commitment
Iran.
to that is unyielding and unwavering.
That was a decent answer. I'll give her that one. Kamala just playing all her classic hits and deflecting to Trump without giving a more solid answer. Yeah, and I kind of figured that was going to happen. I was hoping that maybe he would push back on her and then she would, kind of get some more of her personality, her opinions out there, and not just the campaign script. And, he's trying. He's trying to do it. My God, dude is old AF and has a speech impediment. We've had presidents in wheelchairs. I mean, I think it's a little bit worse than that. He's obviously on a decline. And when they tried to paint a picture like, oh, no, he's as sharp as a tack. He's as sharp as he's ever been. That's the issue. It's not just that he's old. You can be old, that's fine. But when they tried to deny it, that's the issue. I don't think he's checked out like people say. Oh, I do. I think he's totally checked out. I really do. I think he's trying to get to retirement. You can tell. And that would be fine. Like you said, he's old as fuck, right? He should be getting to retirement. And he only has a few more months left anyway. So I would kind of expect it, a little bit.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's administration
that Iran regime
that we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches. Not to mention how Donald Trump has
all of this money
has treated.
That was true. I'll give her that. And the only reason why I know that is because I was deployed while that shit was happening. And I remember when I came back, they were trying to say, oh, they just have headaches. Later, it was rectified. That's cool. That's great. But, initially they were like, oh, they just have headaches. Yeah, no. They have brain injuries. That's not a headache.
Talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers,
Hamas,
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
Well, I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
This is me being dumb and not in the know, but why is Israel so important? It's a strategic military location that we could use. That's pretty much what it comes down to. If we have allies in the regions, we can perform operations in an area that is quite known to... we need to have a location there, if that makes sense. Even though we don't have military bases in Israel, it just gives us another connection to do the things that we want to do.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision
and there are critics
that they feel.
who look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted.
I saw something about that on Twitter where they were saying they were rapping because of the questions or whatever. I don't know what was going on with that. I'll have to look into that too. But he just mentioned it, that they were rapping him really hard, whatever that means.
To say about Donald Trump, there are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say.
There are a lot of things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and that's why we
I invite
you
everyone
here.
to go to kamalaharris.com, and you will see that I have 80 pages of policies that are quite comprehensive and should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do
And that's why we invited you here,
our economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and where you are now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
and
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that was a train wreck. For some Christians, Israel has to exist to bring on Armageddon. I mean, you could say with some opinions it could be a religious thing as well. I'm sure that would check out, but I think me being more of a pessimistic kind of person, I think it's just a strategic region that we can influence over that has a lot of enemies in the area. That's why we care so much about it. So that was fun. That was a fun interview. I'll give him that. She held her own as best as she could. You know, she didn't completely fall apart like a train wreck, even though she didn't really answer the questions, which is kind of what we expect from politicians at this point. We don't ever expect them to answer any questions. So what was that link, Paul, that you got that's supposed to be like fact checking all this stuff? That'd be interesting to see. Is there anything she hasn't taken from Trump? World's greatest military. Sounds familiar. Yeah. A lot of that slogan is definitely Trump slogans. But it's working for him, so, you know. Let's just steal it, I guess. Search House Sparks immigration chart. Okay, let me look for that. House Sparks immigration chart. That's him being live. Which one are you talking about? What do you know what it's called? Or is that actually what it's called? It's not coming up for me. I have full Trump town hall breakdown. That thing's like 3 hours long. I can go to his channel and see what he has too. Let's see. What's he got? What's he got? Can I search his stuff? Yeah. Immigration chart. I found it on X. Oh, I was throwing it in YouTube. That's probably why. Sparks immigration chart. It's just pulling up the immigration chart though. Give me a wrench and I'll post a link. Let me see if I can like make you a mod or something. It'll let you. Let's see. Add as a moderator. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. I made you a mod. Maybe now it'll let you do it. I don't know. Because I searched for it and it just came up with the chart. But we already looked at the chart. I guess I could go to his page. Maybe it's something there. So I got my mail-in ballot. I think I'm going third party. I just really want the obnoxious calls text to stop. Everybody keeps saying that they're getting all these texts and scams and stuff. I haven't got any of that so far, which is great, you know? All my coworkers were talking about that yesterday. How they're getting all these calls and stuff. I didn't get anything. There we go. Okay. If I can push this over here. Oh yeah, this is the one I was looking at. The what is it? This one. Yeah, so this is the same chart though, right? Yeah, this is the one I had Googled during the video because it even shows here. This is when Trump left office. Trump clampdown begins. Yeah, which makes sense. But you still have all of this data over here, and then obviously you can see mass immigration. So what are we getting at here? I mean, look at this. Look way up here. Biden world record illegal immigrants. Yeah. Chat is slow. Yeah, it is a little slow today. I don't know why. Trump tariff threat that leads to Mexican cooperation. Okay. Obama family detention policy. Yeah, this thing's a little bit biased. I mean, that probably is true, but still, you could definitely tell that this is Trump's chart. I'm always scared to scroll down and scroll down the thread probably. I'm always scared to scroll down on these because X has porn on it, and I'm worried some like OnlyFans chick is gonna pop up and then get my stream jacked. Not to mention, what the hell does literally saved his life even mean? Is that even in here? Da, 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 da. Nothing like this has ever happened in our country anymore. Yeah, man, it's just these comments, this illegal chart. That's it. Yes, this is the same chart that I pulled up. Anywho, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick, and I'm gonna start the next one. Do 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 do. Oof. There we go. The next chart down says fixed. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so they're saying this is when he left office, right? It's not really specific with what they're trying to say here. Fix it for them. The new red arrow shows when Trump left office. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know. We'd have to fact check it to really know. Anywho. All right, let's see this one. Not that. It's this one. Yeah, the point being that immigration was spiking already. Yeah, I get it. We would have to really dive in deep to know who was right and which dates he actually left, and have to find the immigration numbers ourselves and have to make sure that the immigration numbers were actually fact checked itself. Hard to know, really. Let's see. There we go. All right, so we just watched the Kamala Harris interview with Fox News. This is going to be Tulsi Gabbard's opinion on that interview. I'm a big fan of Tulsi Gabbard, so just kind of curious to see what her opinion of this is going to be.
On her past support of taxpayer-funded sex changes for inmates and illegal immigrants in her interview with Bret Baier. Here's the soundbite.
Are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, And it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. Under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries
you know what, you got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, and so do you.
Former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard joins us with reaction. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What is your reaction when you hear that soundbite?
It's one of the many examples of how Kamala Harris is lying to the American people and assuming that we're so stupid as just to believe her lies. We've seen the sound bites and the clips of her when
Trump went on Fox and Friends this AM. How did that go for him?
She was advocating and patting herself on the back for the law changes that she brought about that would do this very thing, that would make sure that U.S. taxpayers are covering transgender surgeries for inmates. She advocated for the same for illegal immigrants coming across our border.
And the weird thing about that is she wouldn't say that in her opinion, she thought that we should pay for these sex changes of people. Like she said it in that previous clip, in the interview that they showed, but she wouldn't admit to saying to it now. Like, if that's what she wants, just say it. Like, yeah, this is something. Maybe it's not high up on a policy that I want to work. You know, we have more important things right now, but I'm all for that. Just why wouldn't she just say it? If that's her thing, she thinks we should be supporting that. Just say it. You know, don't not answer the question and deflect to Donald Trump. Like, come on. Trans people are such a tiny portion of the population, nothing burger in my opinion. It's not about the trans issue, man. It's about her not saying what she wanted in the past and admitting to it. That's the issue. He said crazy shit. Yeah, Trump says crazy shit all the time. All the time. But this was an interview with Kamala Harris, so do you support this or do you not support this? And then she would completely go on a rant about Donald Trump. Like that, the question had nothing to do with Donald Trump. Just tell us. If we want to vote for you, how are we going to know to vote for you? Because you won't tell us your opinion on things. You're being shady.
She refuses to take responsibility and own up to her positions. If her views have changed, fine, people can change, but she
exactly right there. She's saying if her views have changed, that's fine. She's flip-flop on every other issue. Why does this one matter too? People that were going to vote for her are still going to vote for her. It's not going to change anything. Just let us know what you actually think now. What is your position? Because at this point, I'm confused what you actually want.
As the American people deserve the respect enough to know exactly why she has changed. In
1 minute, she's trying to take guns away. The next minute, she's a gunslinger and owns a Glock. Who are you, lady? We don't know you.
That interview with Brett, there were a number of examples where she is lying about her.
She's talking about shooting people that break into her house. I meant this morning. Oh, for Trump being on Fox and Friends. I'm sure that interview went fine. It's a Fox interview. Although I think at some point they didn't like him either. But yeah, it's whatever.
Past positions in order to try to create this new version of herself that she thinks will be more palatable to voters. And it's offensive in my view.
So this is such a neck and neck race. Every single vote, every single viewer, their vote will matter.
Yes.
And he pressed her on why, if he's so bad, why is he winning in the swing states? Listen to this.
Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
Because I'm worse.
Listen,
Are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within.
And so do you. A threat to democracy.
Talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
They're so focused on that when they need to be focused on the economy. Everywhere we go, people say we can't afford groceries. They're worried about immigration, her immigration plan.
Yeah, it's an extension of what we've seen over the last 3.5 years from the Biden-Harris administration. People are continuing to be concerned about the high cost of living, and they remember how over this past term in office, they've patted themselves on the back, celebrating the success of Bidenomics and just saying, well, if the American people only knew how good we are and what a great job we did, then maybe we would be more popular. But ignoring the reality of the struggles that the American people are continuing to face and why so many of them want to see change. They need to see a better economy. They need to see secure borders. And again, if
wanting to have proper vetting for firearm owners isn't taking guns away. No, we're talking about her past positions. I was talking about when she was flip-flopping. In the past, she was like, yeah, we're going to take guns away. Now it's we're going to take ARs away, not all your guns. And she's leading that by saying, I'm not going to take your guns away, but ARs are guns. So yes, you're taking guns away. And the vetting issue, I don't think anyone really has an issue with vetting. There's some maybe issue with like veterans, you know, they might have some mental health issues that they would want to be cleared on to make sure that they wouldn't fall into those lines. I'm sure that that's a little sketchy, but for the most part, I think most people want vetting of firearms. He is a threat to Western democracy, I believe, and you're not alone. A lot of people believe that, you know.
If you get past the propaganda media and Kamala Harris's lies, this is where I think President Trump really has an opportunity because he is the change candidate in this election.
And what's interesting, this is probably the first time, I think, in my lifetime at least, where we know what he stands for because we had him for 4 years.
Exactly.
We know what she stands for. We had her for 3.5 years.
And that's the thing that I'm sharing with voters. I'm traveling across the country and sharing with them why I'm endorsing President Trump, but encouraging them, say, if you're undecided, if you have friends who are undecided, this is the first time we have a clear record. You don't have to just listen to rhetoric.
That's
we
true.
know exactly what kind of president both of them will be, and there's a huge contrast between the two.
Tonight, former
Is that exactly what she said back in the day? Yeah, when it came to like school shootings and things like that, yeah, she was talking straight up about pressing people to take guns away. That was definitely her opinion. And I still believe that's her opinion. I still believe she actually does want to take guns away. This whole scenario about her being a Glock owner and she's actually gun friendly, I don't buy it. I think she's going to back hard left policies of we need to remove all the guns. I really believe that.
Hawaii Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard and Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin held a panel discussion at the Robert Crowell Athletic Center in Carson City to pitch Donald Trump. I had an exclusive pull-aside interview with both of them and asked why it matters to Nevadans. This election, former President Donald Trump has assembled what the campaign calls a unity ticket, comprised of national figures, including former Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, whose popularity has been on the rise since joining forces with the Republican ticket.
It's a great
You really can't hate Tulsi. She's awesome.
credit to President Trump that he has welcomed people from all different backgrounds, from me to Bobby Kennedy to Elon Musk and so many others across the country, really creating the big tent that my former Democrat Party used to be.
I'm really sick of all the hate Elon Musk is getting too. That is just unwarranted. It's really like, it makes no sense to me at all.
He is saying, hey, we may not agree on every issue, and that's okay. What we are doing is coming together around the most important and fundamental issues.
Though opponents are critical that the so-called unity ticket will bring Donald Trump more to the center, in northern Nevada, where the largest voting bloc is nonpartisans and independents, this may help Trump win.
We're getting to a point here where Americans are sick and tired of the divisiveness and are looking for real leadership.
Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin is known for his conservative stances and brash political style.
People want to know why I'm in politics? Because I got fed up. Because the federal government's job is not to create jobs, it's to create opportunities for entrepreneurs to create jobs. And this administration thinks it's a government job to control every aspect of it.
And in Nevada, where the union vote is critical, Trump has gained an edge over Democrats because several important unions who supported Biden in 2020 are now either supporting Donald Trump or remaining neutral.
60% of the Teamsters now are supporting President Trump. And as they will tell you, the unions didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left the working class.
Both Gabbard and Mullin are indigenous Americans. Tulsi Gabbard is a Samoan American from Hawaii, and Senator Markwayne Mullin a Cherokee from Oklahoma. They met with local tribal leaders on Tuesday night.
Not even gonna start on Leon. I don't know that guy. I haven't seen much of him.
And one of the things that we're reaching strongly out to is obviously the Indian country, Native Americans. Sometimes they're overlooked and they're just simply given lip service. It's time for the policies to actually work for Indian country, and the way we do that is we invite them in.
After the event, Gabbard and Mullen caught the ending of the Lady Wolfpack volleyball game at the University of Nevada, Reno. The Wolfpack caught controversy after refusing to play with San Jose State, who has a trans athlete on their team.
Just to stand with the team coaches, the players themselves for really having the courage to stand up for the truth.
What's your thoughts on that, Paul? I'm really interested to see what you think about having transgender players on, say, like girls' teams. What do you think about that?
And protect women and girls in sports from biological males competing against them.
And Senator Mullen is close allies with Republican Senate candidate Sam Brown, who is Trump endorsed and hoping momentum from the presidential race will help him win.
I've known Sam since he first started running, and so I think the guy's awesome. He's been to Oklahoma. He's actually been to my house.
Covering Voters Decide. Josh Menny.
Elan, Trump called him Leon. Did he really? I'll have to look for that. Yeah, see, I'm working now, man. I can't catch these clips. I can't catch the jokes.
2 News, Nevada.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to have Tulsi Gabbard and Markwayne Mullen here with us today. It's a huge day. It's a huge fight for women in their sports right now, and that's why we're here so proud of the Lady Wolfpack team standing up for themselves.
This is my friend Markwayne Mullen. He's a U.S. Senator from Oklahoma. He and I introduced legislation 5 years ago now called the Protect Women's Sports Act. It was awesome to be able to come here and see these girls compete. They're inspiring so many young women and girls across the country right now because of their courage. And
my daughter plays high school volleyball. There was a trans athlete on the team that just dominated. She was like 6'2". And what was your opinion on that? Like, how did that make you feel? I know my opinion on it. I think it's fucked up in every way. I don't think it should be allowed. But I don't know. I just don't get the logic of why someone would want that. I don't get it.
bravery in the face of adversity.
Somebody explain it to me.
Even on their own campus with their own leadership, they're sticking to their guns and standing up for women and girls in sports and standing up for truth and science. So we are so glad that we can come here and cheer you guys on in your last set tonight and see you win. And most of all, though, just let you know how proud we are of you. You are setting an incredible example for countless women and girls across the country who are watching you right now. We're grateful to be here just to let them know that we appreciate them and we got their back.
You know, it's interesting because
I think it matters when they are with hormones, etc. I mean, any dude, though, with the bone structure of a guy going into these female sports, I just think it's wrong. I don't think that's like a new opinion. Like that was something, like I'm saying something shocking. I really don't. Like, I think most people probably think that. Like, that's kind of fucked up. It really is. It was messed up. Obviously, there was a clear unfair advantage. To me, it was like Usain Bolt running in the Special Olympics. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just seems wrong. It really does. But I don't think that's shocking. I think most people probably agree.
Tulsi and I introduced this Protect Our Women's Sports back in 2019.
But yet, all of these trans players are playing in these sports. So, if most people agree, how's this happening? That's the real question.
And at that time, we talked.
So maybe I am wrong.
About it's going to take women athletes, to stand up and take this fight on because it's their fight. And to see these college girls right here in the Wolfpack at Reno, Nevada University, it's amazing. And it excites me because they're fighting for my daughters.
Right.
And so we're here to just support them all we can. So guys, join them in the fight because we are.
I just want you to know you're not alone, and there's a whole lot of people cheering.
You're not alone. The bio girls are about 5'8" and maybe a 8-inch vertical. This person could dunk a ball. Yeah, and it just seems wrong. You either have gender dysphoria or not. I have a trans family member. I'm not saying trans people can't exist. But what I am saying is obviously they have an unfair advantage, and that seems wrong to me. Like you wouldn't, kind of like what Chad's saying, like you wouldn't put someone that big in a or fast against someone who's just in the Special Olympics. Like that just seems wrong. We have weight classes for a reason. We have gender classes because of, you know, bone structure and hormones and all of this stuff. So it's not stopping someone from getting any kind of surgery that they want to get. I think, you know, you're an adult, you do whatever you want. You know, that's America. That's freedom, right? Do whatever you want. I don't care. But let's say if they were in like a boxing match or something, that just seems wrong. Seems wrong to me. But you know, it's happening everywhere. So apparently, people don't agree with me. I think it's hard for normies to understand. My niece is now my nephew. Yeah, I mean, it's not something you run into every day. So it is different and strange for a lot of people. I know for me, like the first time I even saw a transgender person was when I moved to California. I'd never seen anybody like that. And to be honest, you couldn't really tell until you got close to them. Like you're walking down the street and you were like next to them. And it is a little bit of a shock because it's not something people are used to. It's pretty rare. Yeah, I can't. When's the last time I saw a transgender person? I think we had one when I was in the military. I'm not even sure about this, to be honest. I couldn't tell if he was just like super gay to the point that he was a little bit feminine, or if he was actually like trying to maybe transition. But in the military, we had an admin guy that worked like it's kind of like a secretary position at a front desk for one of our commanders. I think he might have been trans, but not sure. That would have been the last time I saw one. So maybe like, I don't know, 3 years ago. Coffee and Monster. Yeah, dude, I have a caffeine addiction. I need to stop. I really do need to stop. It's bad. Yesterday I went to Starbucks and I had a Monster. And it was espresso too at the Starbucks. So I need to cut back, which is kind of what I told myself I'd be doing today because I'm not working. I don't really need all this caffeine. But man, I just love caffeine. Caffeine just makes me feel good. It's one of those things that can hype me up at the same time. At different points, it can make me really calm, makes you focused, but also relaxed. Like caffeine is just, that's my weakness. You know, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything, but caffeine is just that one thing that, God, I love it. It's probably not healthy for me, but you know. Need more coffee myself. Right on, right on. I'm going to see what's going on X. Elon Musk speaks at town hall in Folsom, Pennsylvania. I wonder what Elon's talking about. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Let me see what this guy's talking about.
My vote. Okay. Your, let me say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th and the fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. Coronavirus, I thought the public was misled during coronavirus, and that many more lives could have been saved if we would have been informed better. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you, so why would I want to support you? If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. There's, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Good questions.
So the people that don't support, a very small portion, we have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him on what he did. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election, and that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said, peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And when I say we, these are people that walked down. This was a tiny percentage of the overall, which nobody sees and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds.
Oh, this is what you were talking about, the day of love.
It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before. They asked me to speak. I went and I spoke, and I used the term peacefully and patriotically. If you look at the Democrats, what they say, you look at Maxine Waters and you look at Hillary Clinton and you look at what they say, and they don't put that on. They only put Republicans on. But they couldn't get me because of the fact that I said everything's got to be peaceful and patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how it all works out. But I think that we're right now in another election. All I want is honest elections. I'm willing to take any chance. I want honest elections.
Yeah. A day of love, apparently. I've been doing caffeine too much since I quit drinking. It's really easy to overdo caffeine, too, because you build up a tolerance and then you just want more. Really just easy to go off the edge with it. Let me see. All right, so people were telling me that Trump goes off on pretty much everyone in this room. So I'm going to watch it. This is him giving his speech at the Alfred E. Smith Memorial Foundation. So hopefully he keeps it a little bit classy, but, knowing Trump, probably not. So we'll see if this turns into a train wreck.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. And they told me under no circumstances are you allowed to use a teleprompter. And I got up here and I see there's this beautiful teleprompter. So here I am. But it is a tremendous thing. It's a tremendous dinner. I've come here with my father. So it was 3 times, but it was also many times before that, a long time ago. And it's a very special dinner. And you've done a fantastic job, Cardinal. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, I mean, that's classy, I guess.
So I'd like to thank Your Eminence very much, and members of the clergy, so many people I know. Speaker of the House Johnson, what a job you're doing. He's done a great job. Senator Schumer, good. Yeah, I supported him. I don't know. He used to say that's true, and now I'm not sure he would, but I gave him his first check from an office in Beach Haven, and I was very proud of it. I don't know about lately. Now I was. It was his first check. He was running, and I said, he's a good man. Senator Gillibrand, thank you very much. Thank you very much for working hard. Governor Hochul, wherever you may be up, this is a big day, that's right. Where is the governor? Good job. It's not an easy one, is it? But you're doing all right. We have to get a little money from the federal government, I have to tell you. It's about time. It's about time. Mayor Adams, good luck with everything. They went after you. They went after you, Mayor. Yeah, boy, I knew that. 9.5 months ago, I said, he just said something about the administration. He's going to be indicted any moment.
Finally, they figured out how to focus their stupid camera.
And guess what happened? But you're going to win. I think you're going to win. I know you're going to win. So good luck. Good luck. I don't like what they do. I don't like what they do. And also distinguished, got so many friends up here. It's great. A lot of great friends. Some of my best friends. And you are right. They are distinguished and they are wealthy for the most part. A couple are having a hard time, but they're going to get over it. I also want to thank my very beautiful wife, and thank you for mentioning, but can you believe this? She did a book, and it's a really good book, and she worked hard on it, and it just became #1 on the New York Times list, so I think that's okay. That's not an easy thing to do, especially...
Someone said that wasn't true, that he's been saying that was a #1 bestseller on New York Times, but he was lying about it. I don't know if that's true or not.
When your name is Trump and you're on the New York Times list, that must be selling like hotcakes. But thank you for mentioning. I appreciate it. Good job you did. It's a true pleasure to be with you this evening. Amazing pleasure. And these days it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance.
Whoever was saying that is BS, because I can actually show you. There's one reference. This is the Daily Beast, but it doesn't matter because I Googled it and there was a whole host of different people saying that, yeah, she is a #1 best-selling author. So it is in fact true. Whoever said that, you're a dirty liar.
Anytime I don't get a subpoena, I'm very happy. They've gone after me, Mr. Mayor. You're peanuts compared to what they've done to me. And you're going to be okay. But I have to be careful, however, to understand that this will be the first time in the history of this event where jokes will be fact-checked, and they will be. And they will be. It's been a long tradition for both Democrat and Republican candidates for President of the United States to attend this dinner. It's a rule. You got to go to the dinner. You got to do it, otherwise bad things are going to happen to you from up there. You can't do what I just saw on that screen, but my opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful.
Hardy har har. Yeah.
The last Democrat not to attend this important event was Walter Mondale, and it did not go very well for him. He lost 49 states and he won 1, Minnesota. So I said, there's no way I'm missing it. Actually, it was not easy for me to get here tonight. Because I wasn't going to miss this thing, no matter, I didn't care. I wasn't going to miss it. But that's true, Walter Mondale, 49-1. He was expected to do well. And it didn't work out. It shows you there is a God. I mean, for those people that are questioning it. I understand the real reason that she's not here is she's hunting with her running mate, spending a lot of time hunting. In any event, it's a weird. You know the word weird. They call me weird. They call JD weird. We're very solid people. This guy is calling us weird, but this was weird that the Democrat
He just canceled a bunch of events? You mean Trump did? For what reason?
candidate is not here and with us tonight. I want to also congratulate somebody's going to make us all healthy. RFK Jr., we love you. I don't see him. He's campaigning all over the place. He's campaigning. You're all over.
Campaigning.
Hello, you both. Nice to see you both. Doing a good job. He's a great guy, too. He really is. He's got a make us a healthier place. We're going to let him go wild for a little while, then I'm going to have to maybe rein him back.
What happened with this Trump event where I guess he stopped taking questions and just stood there while music was playing? I kept seeing little clips, or not even clips of that. It was just people talking about it on Twitter. What happened with that?
Because he's got some pretty wild ideas, but most of them are really good, I think. He's a good man, and he believes the environment, the healthy people. He wants healthy people. He wants healthy food, and he's going to do it. He's going to have a big chance to do it because we do need that. I would not have missed the Al Smith dinner for anything in the world. I still remember coming here as a very young guy with my father, Fred. He was a great guy, my father. He was a tough cookie, but he had a very big heart. He was, anytime we'd walk down the street, and you don't see it too much anymore, there'd be people standing with tin cans. And
Not sure, but 2 news interviews and the RNA. I wonder what's going on with him, especially with him stopping that event. It makes me seem like something's up. 2 people fainted at a Trump rally due to heat. They were taken out, and Trump just said, let's just play the music, and went on for 40 minutes. I'm probably going to look that up later just to see it for myself. Probably after this one, because it just seems weird. I want to know what's going on.
And he would always take out $100 and put it in that can. And I always thought it was beautiful. And frankly, I even think more so now it was beautiful, because nowadays you don't see it so much. But I miss him, and we used to come here very religiously. And a great New York tradition.
He's lost it? Yeah, I know a lot of people are trying to say, like, oh, he's dementia Don, but, he doesn't have anything wrong with his memory. They can disagree with him and his personality and all that stuff, but he's not Joe Biden. Them trying to flip that on him, it's not really working, but there could be something actually happening in his family, or, who knows? That was strange. I'll see if I can find a video about it. Yeah, I want to see the whole thing. The whole town hall. I want to, that way it's not clipped. I want to see, the full thing. Yeah, Joe's pretty bad. Yeah, and that's not even saying anything against Joe. He's just old, where Trump was still keeping it together. But obviously something happened there. And if he's canceling events, something's up,
Tradition has been born 79 years ago. It was born 79 years ago. And there are some people that were here for almost that length. I know many of them, and it's not a pretty picture. Not a pretty picture. The 2 candidates for president are supposed to exchange good-natured barbs, and we get along very well. I didn't like Biden very much, and now I like him quite a bit.
He likes to kill off his followers by making them stand in the heat.
And now I say that she's much worse than him. He was a much better candidate than her, actually. And when we hopefully win, dispose of her, I like her a lot, but right now I can't stand her. It's true. I can't stand her. I've never liked people that I was competing against. When you do, a lot of bad things happen. And we are doing well, by the way. The votes are starting to come in. You got to get out and vote. And Catholics, you got to vote for me. Just remember. You better remember I'm here, and she's not. I could have done that too. But you do something that's incredible, the Catholic Church, you're helping the poor, educating children, and supporting the vulnerable. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed.
Damn.
She would have been here. Guaranteed. She would have been okay. She would have been okay with that. But I know this isn't my normal crowd tonight, because it just isn't. It's not my normal crowd. Believe me, my normal crowd is younger, has a lot more energy.
Wow.
But you have certain advantages too, like cash, lots of cash. But many of you are Manhattan liberals from the media and the Democrat Party. I always say the Democrat, Chuck doesn't like that. He likes Democratic, and it sounds much more beautiful, the Democratic Party. I always say the Democrat Party because it sounds worse. It is true. He likes Democratic. Why don't they just change the name? This way, It is Democrat. But I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy. We would recognize it any place in this room, and all polls are indicating I'm leading big with the Catholic vote, as I should be. But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. That's not a pretty sight. But Catholics...
He's been having pretty severe gaffes and slurring, has for a while, but people are catching on. I don't think so. I know people were trying to say that about his Elon interview, but I didn't think it was that serious as much as they were trying to play it up. He's obviously old too, don't get me wrong. And it could be that I'm also comparing him to Biden, who is obviously just wrecked most of the time. So, maybe.
Please don't be too insulted by Kamala's absence. If the Democrats... Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
He sucks at telling the jokes someone wrote for him. Yeah.
If Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. He's having second thoughts. You know that, right? He wants to come back. If she does any worse in the polls, they're going to bring him back again, I think. Chuck, he's going to do it. He's the one that got him out. That's the guy.
Oh, wow.
Much more so than Crazy Nancy, I will tell you. Because I know him. He did it. Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing.
I'm talking about at rallies. I haven't honestly watched a recent Trump rally, so I can't really say then. It's been a while since I've actually watched one. Kamala rally too. I haven't watched her in a long time.
Got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake. That term wasn't good. They say that term is no longer in vogue because it's much worse than fake. I don't want to tell you what the real name is. I won't do it because all those cameras would shut off immediately. They don't like that. But apparently Joe didn't think it was fair for me to have the podium to myself with Kamala skipping the event.
Find a supercut? Okay. So
he called, looked at me, and said, "Don't." Does anybody understand that? Yeah. I thought it was actually very good until just now. It was announced this morning that at a funeral yesterday, in a rare moment of clarity, Joe told Barack Hussein Obama that, quote, only a few people got that.
You're lucky.
Or as Rush Limbaugh used to say, Barack Hussein Obama. Remember, bro? He was
Yeah, I guess working is probably more important than watching a Trump rally, right?
a piece of work. We miss him. But as he told Barack Hussein Obama, quote, "She's not as strong as me. She's not as strong. Do you understand that?" And Obama agreed, saying, "That's true. Other than that, I think the Democrats are getting along quite well." Right? Nobody got that one. The fact is, we need new leadership in this country. Right now, we have someone in the White House who can barely talk, barely put together two coherent sentences, who seems to have mental faculties of a child, it's said. There's a person that has nothing going, no intelligence whatsoever, but enough about Kamala Harris. Let's get on to something else.
That was paused very awkwardly.
I know Kamala's word because she spends a lot of time complaining. I won't agree to another debate.
I hate this bit. Yeah, it could have been funny if he would have phrased it correctly, but there was too many pauses.
But the truth is, I've debated
He's not a comedian, obviously.
twice this year, once against Joe Biden and once against David Muir of ABC. That was amazing, 11 times. None for the other side. Do you think
The Hussein crap? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely played out.
that's fair news? I don't think so. That's fake news. I don't know what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. It's going to be very interesting. It just started. It's actually, isn't it sort of exciting?
As he struggles to read. Yeah, that's what I mean. The timing wasn't there.
Right? It really, isn't it just exciting what's going on? It's a process. It's a rough process, too. Not so pretty, and yet sometimes very beautiful. But the press is reporting the Democrats are starting to panic. They're panicking. They are panicking because, you know, the votes that are coming in very, very strong, a certain way. I won't tell you what way that is, but Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look.
You can tell that guy does not like him at all.
Look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. And I actually said, do you mind if I do that? He said, no, you got to do what you got to do. He's a pro. He's a professional. No, he's a good man, actually. I hate to say it. Don't ever use it against me, please. They'll say, this dinner was really setting me back when I say that. But I've known him a long time. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris.
I've definitely seen that.
Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
Okay, that was good. He had a good writer for that one.
Every one of those people is voting for me. And as you may have seen, Kamala did an interview on Fox News yesterday. It went so poorly for her that the Democrats have been forced to install another 100 drop boxes throughout the city. And the upside really is Kamala now sees the benefit of deportation. She wants to deport people. She's vicious. She wants to deport people, and she wants to start by deporting Bret Baier of Fox. It's an interesting interview last night. Huh? A major issue in this race is child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away.
Aww.
That's a nasty one. That's nasty. I told these idiots that gave me this stuff, that's too tough. Oh, I did. You know, they told me the last time I did this, I was running against Crooked Hillary. Hillary. No, I was running against Crooked Hillary, and I did it, and I thought it was a roast. So I was told it's a roast. And I had the meanest guy you've ever seen write stuff up, and man, was the room angry. Even the Cardinal remembers. I went overboard, don't you agree, Cardinal? It was like terrible. And I knew I was in trouble around midway through because, you know, people had not, even my own side was angry at me. They were saying, it's too much. But I did it anyway. I didn't give it. Campaigning can take a toll on a family and family life, although I hear that Kamala and her husband carve out some really beautiful alone time at the end of the day for an intimate dinner, just Doug, her, and a teleprompter that she uses quite well. And by the way, she wouldn't have liked this tonight if she was told about no teleprompter. I can't believe I saw a teleprompter. They said they've never had a teleprompter in the history of this dinner. I told that to the Cardinal, right? And then a teleprompter pops up for, he must be a very important comedian to get that. They give you one, but not me. How about that one? Huh? Come here. Yeah, and you did a good job. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. There's nothing to say. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time and they shoot hard. You know, they say about presidents, they say that Andrew Jackson was the president that was the most meanly treated. His wife died. She died of heartache. She was heartbroken at the way they treated him. And they say that second was Abraham Lincoln, but he was in charge of a Civil War, you know. So, but those were the two, Andrew Jackson. Up until me, now they say it's not even close. There's never been a president that's been treated so badly as me, and our people aren't happy about it. But I was treated a little bit rough. But I don't mind it somehow, and I think it's just part of the game. I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Waltz on Saturday Night Live, and that'll be
which is pretty funny.
Short.
The new SNL stuff is actually pretty good. They're making fun of everyone again, and I'm actually enjoying it. It's not just straight up like just liberal jokes. It's everybody making fun of everyone, which is how SNL was always supposed to be. And there's some good jokes there.
Gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Let's see how that lasts. It better be quick. We don't want him, and I'm not going to say anymore. But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was. I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Waltz. The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back. That show is bad. Those people are bad. I know every one of them, and they are bad news, I want to tell you. And it doesn't do very well either. I always like to say, ratings are very important. When they don't do well, it doesn't do very well. As I look around the dais, I see all of the usual suspects. For instance, Mayor Adams. I'd like to poke some fun at Eric, but I'm going to be nice. I just want to be nice because I know what it's like to be persecuted by the DOJ for speaking out against open borders. We were persecuted, Eric. I was persecuted, and so are you, Eric. The mayor's dietary restrictions are well known, but I've got to say, I've never met a person who's
voting on any propositions in your state. So I just started looking at them. I'm a little late. I know there's for Florida, the main ones are abortion. It's Prop 3 and Prop 4. I can't remember which is which as far as the issues go. But abortion's the main one, and also marijuana being legalized here is a big one too. I want to run through the entire ballot, though. I still need to study too. Yeah, I want to actually go through it a little bit more, but just glancing through it, those are the big ones. Trying to figure out what I'm going to vote for those.
the vegan who liked turkey so much.
Marijuana, man, that's a hard issue for me because I believe people should be able to do whatever they want to do. If you want to smoke weed, that's great. But at the same time, I am noticing like a lot of weed stores popping up around. I don't want the smell of everywhere. The people that typically come with that are not great. No offense to you smoking weed, but you have to know what I'm kind of saying. Like it attracts the wrong kind of people. So it's hard issue, man. I'm in that line of like, yeah, I want everyone to be able to do what they want to do. I just don't want to be living next to a weed store, you know? Like it's a fine line of trying to figure out what I would vote for.
There's something about him with turkey. I just found that out today. You know, I haven't been in New York that much. Don't let it, but you're going to win, Eric. We have another former New York City mayor with us, frankly, easily the worst in our history. And it's not Michael, that I can tell you. I'm surprised that Bill de Blasio was actually able to make it tonight, to be honest. He was a terrible mayor. I don't give a shit if this is comedy or not.
Damn.
He was a terrible mayor. He did a horrible job. That's not comedy, by the way, that's fact. But unlike the rest of New York, at least Bill doesn't have to worry about the criminals. They owe him big. He let them get away with a lot of stuff. Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially The city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas. That's right, they've reserved many rooms, a lot of rooms, too many rooms. But in all seriousness, it's an honor to be here to support the city and the community. It's a great community that I love. I've been here a long time and I love it. And then it's going to make...
Worked out good in WA, puff up pass. Yeah, it's just a hard line, man. Like I watched California. It wasn't a positive thing in California. It was positive in the sense that they weren't having federal agents kick in doors for people smoking weed anymore. But I don't know. It's not for me, I can tell you that. And typically the crowd of people, and it's not something I'd want to live next to.
Make a big comeback, and I'm going to help it make a comeback. I'm going to win, and I'm going to make a comeback. We're going to turn this thing around. And I want to pay tribute to a really incredible man, a man who was a tremendous politician, and actually the fact that he was Catholic it probably did him in, right? Nobody knows for sure, but he was a great guy, Al Smith, great guy. Everyone says it, happy warrior. I've said before that I'll say it again as many times as I have to, directly to the mayor and the governor. If I have the honor to be elected next month, we're going to see what happens. It's happening so fast, but if I have the honor, I look forward to working together to make this city greater than ever before. We're going to do that. We're going to be focused on. I'll work with the governor. I'll work with the mayor. Democrats, I will work with them. I work with whoever I have to, and we will even work very hard to bring back the SALT tax deduction. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back. We're going to get that thing going, Chuck, okay? I actually thought about not doing jokes tonight. I was going to come out here and say, listen, our country is doing very badly. This is not about jokes.
I think it's been good for us, people using more weed than booze, and you don't have to deal with drug dealers. Yeah, that is a positive note. There's less drug dealers. I don't know how to put this. Like, I noticed in California it was like weed store on every corner, especially at the time like California was just legalizing marijuana, and it just seemed like they're creating all these stores because it was a big cash grab, but it wasn't really good for the population. I'll just say that. There's a lot of money to be made. It's good that they weren't going to drug dealers, even though those stores are getting robbed, of course, but it was good that the feds weren't kicking in doors and cops weren't arresting people for smoking joints. I'm for that, but still, I don't think it's necessarily good for the people.
And then some person said, you have to do jokes. I said, I don't.
Have you tried Kratom, real big in Florida? No, I do nada. My only vice is caffeine. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't smoke anything. I don't drink anything. I just consume a lot of caffeine. I can only take Trump for so long. Yeah, I think he's wrapping up.
There's nothing funny about what's happening to our country. And I actually meant that. I was going to do that, but they convinced me to say some of the things I said tonight. I don't know if they were funny or not, but...
yeah, I think he's wrapping up. I'm pretty much done with him, too. But no, I've never tried Kratom. I don't even really know what it is, to be honest. Isn't that like a tea or something? Let me go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. All right. We have 2 in our little town. No riffraff. Yeah, see, like having 2, that's not a big deal. That's about. You're gonna have way more liquor stores, 2, that's fine. Good man, addiction sucks. Yeah, my grandfather was like a alcoholic, so drinking never appealed to me. It's not my thing. Not to mention, I work a job. They're gonna drug test me, so it's not like I can do anything like that anyway. Mild stimulant, mild pain relief related to the coffee plant. Is that something people get addicted to as well? I'm assuming, because if it's like caffeine, it's addictive in a milder form, but you know. Here's this town hall. I found it. Oh, let me stop the music though. Can't have the music. It's this one. There we go. Let me see where he starts, because there are some people who had like medical emergencies or something. Where is he? Let me see if the audio's music. Yeah, it's definitely music. So let's see where they stop the music. And turn off the CC. Not terribly addictive as much as coffee. That's not terrible then. And there's some drug I was watching, like a Vice documentary or something, and they were addicted to it. I thought it was kratom, like the guy couldn't stop doing it, but maybe it was something else. Something like that. Okay, it starts about like right there. I haven't checked on the news. J6 evidence released today. I didn't see anything as far as like videos for it. Let me check the news real quick. Probably in politics, I would think. Nah. Nah, nothing so far. It could be, but you have to try hard. Yeah, I'm not seeing the evidence. Anyway, this is the Trump town hall. Apparently, there was a bunch of medical emergencies, and at some point, he stops taking questions. And at that point, they just listen to music, and it gets really awkward. And people were calling him Dementia Don. So I want to see this for myself, what actually happened. So I'm going to go ahead and let it roll.
Listen, I love the fact that in my state we uphold the Constitution. In fact, our state motto is under God, the people rule. But it's so fantastic to be here in the city where the Constitution was actually written, right?
Who is she?
And I know that you all embrace being the city of brotherly love, but I'm going to get real with you right here. Kamala
I've been chilling and not surfing. Yeah, me too. This is my day off. I just sit here and it's going to stream.
Harris sucks, right? She sucks.
She sucks.
And listen,
okay.
If there's one thing that I've learned since being governor, is that leadership has consequences, that it matters who's in
Okay, she's the governor. That makes more sense.
charge, and it impacts every single family, every single business in the state when you have the right person in the White House and the wrong person in the White House. Listen, I have served as governor under Joe Biden and under President Donald Trump.
So she's probably going to bring out Trump in a minute. She's just giving her intro.
Yes. And when President Trump was in the White House, I got to get up every single day and be on offense. I got to go out there and solve problems for my people. I got to be aggressive and help them grow their incomes. In fact, in South Dakota, we have the fastest growing incomes in the entire country. We have the lowest unemployment rate in the country. During COVID, we were the only state in the country that never once shut down a single business. We never mandated anything. In fact, I didn't even define what an essential business was because I don't believe that the government has the ability or the authority to
Christy Noem, never heard of her.
tell you that your business isn't essential. We were the only state to never take the elevated unemployment benefits because I said, listen, Mr. President, our people want to work. And they did. They went to work every single day. And listen, we broke the national record for the lowest unemployment rate in the history of the United States of America because people in South Dakota understand we were created to serve each other.
I don't know if that's really a win. She's bragging about taking lower unemployment benefits. I can tell you in Florida, you only get like 3,000. That's the max, which doesn't even cover shit, you know, because you're only getting a certain percentage every 2 weeks, and it's not even close to that. Hey, who do you think will win in 2 months? I have no idea, man. Last time I looked at the polls, it was showing Kamala was leading. A lot of people love Trump, though, so we'll see. Some people think polls are bullshit anyway. Some people tell you to go to that crypto poll, which I don't think is legit at all. Who do I want to win? I'm probably going to vote for Trump, just being real with you. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kamala.
In our state, we banned China from owning our land. And we passed the strongest bill in the nation to make sure that only women could play in women's sports.
We go back to that gender sports thing. There it is again.
And when President Trump gets back in the White House,
She's bragging about turning down federal money. Yeah, which I don't get why she's bragging about that. Like when it came to unemployment, at least, you know.
he is going to make sure that we don't have mediocre men taking away opportunities from our exceptional women.
I get that Republicans are going to have this, oh, everybody needs to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, blah, 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 blah. We shouldn't be giving out all this federal money for unemployment. But, you know, unemployment's there for a reason. It really is. And it's not a lot of money, especially for the amount of money that you probably pay into it. It's not a very big safety net. You're better off taking that money for yourself and investing it, keeping a nest egg for yourself, and not giving it to the government. But if the government's going to take my money, I expect it to be there. That's what I can tell you. So her champion turning down all this federal money for unemployment kind of makes her look like a loser. It just makes me look like I'm getting screwed twice.
So listen, I've got people in my life that I admire, and tonight you're going to get the chance to hear from one of them. President Trump is somebody that I appreciate for his fight, his tenacity, his wisdom, and his ability to get things done. He's a deal maker, and he never loses sight of the American people. I'm going to tell you something. When I first saw him announced for president in 2016, I watched him on TV. I was sitting at home, come down a golden escalator. Do some of you remember that? I remember sitting there and thinking, who does that? Who comes down a golden escalator? Because the politicians that I had known, what they do when they're going to run for office is they go put on a pair of jeans and they go find themselves a barn and maybe a hay bale, and they say, golly shucks, geez, I'm just like you, right? And pretend to be somebody that they're not. But not President Trump. He was going to be honest with you and genuine.
I think Kamala will win. Why do you think that? What facts are you leading to make you think that. Be streaming right now, looking for a fight. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you for what?
With you, and here is the situation, and here is the truth. He doesn't think he's any better than you. All those politicians that run and pretend to be something else, they think they're better than you. They think they're smarter than you, and that they can sell you a line and a story, and that's not President Trump. President Trump is himself. He's fighting for you. He's fighting to protect you and your family, and he loves this country. He loves this country. People ask me, we love Trump. We love Trump.
Apparently they love Trump.
We love Trump. He's listening to you right now. He's listening to you, and he hears you. And he hears you. Listen, everybody, let's get right to it. Please welcome the 45th president
All right, here he comes.
and the 47th president of the United States, Donald John Trump.
Oh, that music, though. They try to get me with the copyright claim, but I'm too quick. Too quick. Even after 4 days of not streaming, I still got it. Can I skip ahead? Where is he? Yeah, skip ahead a little bit. Come on, you old man. Get out here. Where are you? There he is. About the safety net issue. Yeah, man, if I could opt out of unemployment, then I would consider what she's saying a win. But if I have to pay it and it doesn't provide for me, then that's me losing twice, right? So what's she talking about? It makes no sense at all. What? Okay, yeah, he's looking a little weird there. Yeah, for sure. I don't know, he's dancing. Let's see what's going on with this dude. He's out of fresh diapers. People said he acted really weird in this one. So I want to see what's going on.
It's a nice crowd.
And I'll be honest, when they said that he stopped the questions, I kind of thought that maybe he had an accident or something. You know, like, you know, people have diarrhea sometimes.
Protects them.
Maybe.
You know what else? They fight for themselves, and they've been fighting for a long time, and we're going to make your fight easier. It's very important. We'll make it easier. Because what's happened to our country in the last almost 4 years now, it's hard to believe, but if you look at the borders, if you look at inflation, you look at the Afghanistan disaster, the most embarrassing time in the history of our country. I think the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, the way they did, not getting out, I was getting out with dignity, strength. The way they got out was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened. Probably led to Putin going into Ukraine. Probably, he looked at it, he said, these people aren't very good, are they? He would have never done that with me. So, you know, we're all in this together. We got to win the election November 5th.
Yes. And, sir, he has never yet called those Gold Star families to express his grief for the people and the soldiers that we lost that day. And who controls that airstrip now?
China.
China. Yes.
The evil China.
No, they have, you know, China took over. And one of the things, get out, we were there like for 20 years. I said, what are we doing here? So we get the hell out. But, you know, I had a talk with the Taliban, and we didn't lose one soldier in 18 months until this catastrophe happened when they took over. But, you know, one of the things we, aside from everything else, we spent billions of dollars years ago to build a big air base. And you knew that one from your own time.
Yes, I did.
A big one, a really good one.
He's supposed to take questions in this, so that's really what I'm going for.
Powerful runways, long runways. And you know what happened? I'll tell you, they gave it up. And it was 1 hour away from where China built, forget about Afghanistan, 1 hour away from where China builds its nuclear weapons. Would have been very nice to have. And China now occupies that air base. So it's terrible. It's terrible.
It is. Mr. President, as you can see, we've got a lot of American patriots here tonight who want to ask you some questions.
Good.
If you don't mind, we'll move into that portion of the town hall tonight. Let's go to our first question. Our first question is going to be from a man named Reed. And Reed, I'm not certain where you are.
Let's do it. Hopefully they got mics for
Where's
these
Reed?
people.
There he is. Hi, Reed.
There he is, over there.
Nice looking guy.
Reed, I believe you're a Navy SEAL, correct?
No.
No. Okay, I got that wrong. All right, thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Reed.
Hi, Reed.
I'm a single father and Iraq War veteran. I dream of owning a home for me and my son, but mortgage rates under the Biden-Harris administration have made that impossible. What can you do to help make home ownership affordable again?
All right, good. It's a great question, and a lot of people have this question.
Why is he reading from a cue card?
First of all, it's too expensive to build the homes, and they're building them, and they cost a fortune, and 30% of the cost in some locations is the cost of like planning and certificates and a lot of nonsense they do. They make you go through hell and it takes years to get them, zoning approvals, all of the approvals you need. We're going to get rid of a lot of that, but most importantly, we're going to get interest rates brought way down. You know, we had interest rates at 2%, and now they're 10% and you can't get the money. We had 2% and there was plenty of money for everybody. And, you know, I call the whole...
Trump's looking really awkward in that chair. I don't know if it's just me, but just the way he's sitting's a little bit weird.
Part of the American dream. We're going to create the American dream for young people and for older people, too, by the way. We're not going to forget. I mean, I happen to be a very young man, but we're not going to forget the older people. We're not going to forget the older people. By the way, no tax on Social Security benefits for the older people. For those.
Which is ridiculous. I can't believe they really tax Social Security as income. It's messed up.
I guess, you know, somebody said, oh, he's got a conflict of interest because he benefits by that. I'll give mine up if you want. I save tax. But no, we're going to do that for the older people. That's a big deal because you've been eaten alive with inflation. And all I'm doing is getting you back to even. I think when we do that, we're probably just getting you, you know, you have fixed income and you went up numbers like 30, 40, 50, depending on what they include. You know, they like to say it was a 20% increase. It wasn't. It was 30, 40, and 50, depending on what they want to include. So we're going to do that. But Reed, getting back to you, we're going to drill, baby drill. We're going to have so much energy. And we're going to bring prices down because, you know, your prices are up. Don't forget, the damage is done. We have the worst president and the worst vice president in the history of our country by far. And let me tell you, she is worse than him. And he's actually, I didn't think I'd ever say this about anybody. She's actually, you take a look at her, she's more dangerous than him, but he's actually smarter than her. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd say that. But look, we're going to get it down. We're going to drill. We're going to get the energy down. When the energy comes down, prices are going to come down. All of that prices, because, you know, when they say, oh, although they had very bad inflation numbers last month, you saw that. Very, very bad inflation numbers, despite the big, you know, they did this big drop, probably too big a drop. I'm not going to get into that. But we're going to get the prices down because the damage has been done. If we had no inflation now, such damage has been done. The highest, in my opinion, the biggest inflation in the history of our country. They didn't include a lot of the bad numbers. I'll give you an example. On housing and on different things, like crime statistics are fake. They were fake statistics. They didn't include some cities that were really bad. So the crime looked like it was just bad as opposed to being horrific. Jobs, 818,000 fake jobs they added. And they padded the job numbers a couple of months ago so that they'd look better on jobs. 818, they were fake. They were fraudulent jobs. And they thought they'd announce the real numbers after the election. But we had a whistleblower or somebody that let it out. So they cheated us on 18. Think of that. 800.
Inflation is actually way, way down. I don't know what he's talking about. They're showing 2.4%, which is way better than what it was previously. They were showing like 2.9%. Right now, as of September, 2.44. So not terrible. That's what we're used to. Obviously, prices are still going to be increased because it's just getting back to baseline, your average inflation. But inflation is mostly back to normal.
118,000 jobs they cheated. You know, usually when you have those numbers, it's 9,000 jobs off it. This is almost 1 million jobs off. It's not even possible. So we're going to bring things, and Reed, you're going to buy that house, and you're going to pay 2.5%, 3% interest, and you're going to say, I love this guy. Because interest rates, Reed, will follow as the energy goes down. And I made another commitment. I made it over the last month. I've been making it. We have more liquid gold under our feet than Saudi Arabia, than Russia, than any other country. I'm going to bring down your energy costs 50% in the first year. 50%. And I better do it because I'm all over the place saying I'm going to have problems if I don't get it done. But we have all the capacity to do it. Nobody else can make that statement. We have so much energy, we don't even use it. We get energy from Venezuela. They don't have good oil. You know, they have tar. They have tar that you have to liquefy. And you know where they do it? In Houston, Texas, because that's where we have the plant. It's the only plant in the world that can do it. We do it in Houston. So for the environmentalists out there, this is not a pretty picture, what flows into the air, right? But we're going to use our beautiful liquid gold. And when we get everything else down, houses, everything's going to come. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to have a house. Just wait a little while. Give me a little while. Let me get in. 1 year from January 20th, we will have your energy prices cut in half all over the country.
Thank you. And Mr. President, in reference to Reed and his family, he's not in a unique situation. 65% of Americans today cannot buy a home. That has dramatically changed under the Biden-Harris administration, and Kamala Harris has embraced the policies that made home ownership disappear and take away that opportunity from Reed and his family and 65% of Americans today. Listen, the American dream is still to own your own home. And now that is not possible because of what they've embraced. And you talk about liquid gold. If any state understands liquid gold and American energy, it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Take it you haven't seen his Univision event? Maybe not. What happened there?
The Commonwealth.
Yes, the Commonwealth.
Make sure, you know.
The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
By the way, this is a really great governor, very successful governor. She read some of the numbers. And I thought she would, because why not? Nobody else will do it, but I will.
I did it
because I do it
fast.
for my friends. So you did it beautifully,
Fast.
too. She has done a fantastic job as governor. And I will say this. I went to school here. I just want to forewarn her, because I've seen it happen and it's career threatening. Don't ever call it a state. It's a Commonwealth. And I was saying,
Lesson learned.
Has somebody, because a lot of innocent lambs have come up and they start talking to the people of Pennsylvania. I love you people. I know you so well. I'm here all the time. But yeah, I went to school here. I went to the Wharton School, the great Wharton School of Finance. And they were great. It's a great place. But I went to college here. So never, ever even think. I watched one man crash and burn. He kept calling.
Probably the worst event of the season. Dude, what happened? No, I didn't hear anything about that.
At this state, I kept saying, it's the Commonwealth. And by the time the evening, I think his political career ended there. So
Sir,
go ahead.
tonight we have some special guests in the audience. We have a Gold Star family that is with us tonight. Mary and Charles Strange are here. Where are they?
Where are they?
Oh, here they are. Sir, they're behind us over here.
I bet he wished he had canceled. Let me see. This is from Rolling Stone. It says, Univision Town Hall participants unimpressed with arrogant Trump. When was this? This must have been while I was working. This was published the 18th today. So was this something that happened this week? What is this ad doing? Undecided Latina voters who participated in Donald Trump's Univision Town Hall on Wednesday were left deeply unimpressed by former president. 3 participants in the event expressed their frustration over Trump's failure to answer them directly or explain his policy proposals in interviews with Rolling Stone. 2 of them indicated that their experience with the former president has solidified their decision to vote for his opponent, Kamala. Okay, what happened? This guy said he was very disappointed in Trump's performance. During the town hall, he asked the former president about his frequent invocation of conspiracy theories, and he truly believes the false claims he's been spreading about Haitian migrants. And if he truly believes. Okay. Trump responded by doubling down on his unfounded accusations that migrants in the town are eating local pets. I wasn't amazed by any of his answers. His rhetoric hasn't changed, he said, adding that he didn't vote for Trump in 2016 or 2020. I heard the things he was saying about us Mexicans. He's let it go now because he's now going after the poor Haitians. But during the first campaign, he painted us as rapists, diseased people, anything you can think of. All right, interesting. Was this a live event? Is this something that I can watch? Sarah Gould added how the audience was surprised by Trump's attitude, his answers describing the former president as totally disingenuous and arrogant. What's this thing called? Univision Town Hall. Let me see if I can find this bad boy.
Oh, come on up here. Come on.
They lost their son, Michael.
Come on up.
Come on up here.
It's a little harder to get up since I got shot. They've made it more difficult. Perhaps that's the way it's supposed to be.
Sir, they lost their son, Michael.
President Trump, great to see you again, buddy. Still Team 6 is the gold star. That's beautiful. Under Obama, all 30 guys died.
Did you want to say anything?
Under Obama is right. Under Obama. Please, on behalf of your son.
I would ask, Mr. President, my son was killed August 6, 2011 with 29 other men. It was the biggest loss of life in the Iraq and Afghan war.
Yeah.
It was the biggest loss of life in a single day in the history of America. 22 of them men were Navy Special Warfare. Till to this day, we still haven't gotten any answers. I was wondering, I'm begging you, we would like a congressional hearing.
So here's what we're going to do. In the first week, let me have it, not the first day, because I made a lot of promises in the first day. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to close up the border. We're going to do a lot in the first day. In the first week, we will set up a commission. We're going to find out, because so many people in your same position, they want to know what happened. Why did it happen to their son or daughter? And we're going to do that within the first week. So you get ready to come over to the White House, okay?
Thank
All right?
you, Mr. President. Got to say one more thing. I want to let America know, June 2017, President Trump and his wife had me and my wife bring 20 gold stars to the White House. Him and his wife stayed the whole time. They had food, drinks. They did a candle ceremony for us. President Trump stood up every time, saluted the Gold Star parents.
That was both a celebration, a remembrance. It had all emotion, right? Yes. They were happy, they were sad, they were devastated, but they remembered their beautiful boy, right?
Yes.
Their beautiful boy, and we're not going to forget. We're going to find out what happened. We're going to do that within the first week, and you have my word. Okay?
Thank you, President Trump.
Good man. Good man.
Oh, I agree. I got the proof.
Participate in the public.
Yeah, I got the video. I'm probably going to watch it tomorrow. That's going to be my thing for tomorrow. Check it out, because it's like an hour long, too. I'm going to save it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President.
What a nice couple.
Hopefully they don't try to copyright strike me on it, though.
Mary and Charles' daughter, Rachel, is also here tonight. She is Michael's sister, so thank you, Rachel, for coming tonight, too, and God bless you and your family. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice.
Thank you, darling.
Yes.
Thank you, honey.
It's definitely on the agenda.
It's tough stuff.
It is. Thank you for your commitment to...
And like what we were discussing in Afghanistan with the 13 family members, they feel that bad things happen, stupid things happened, and you hate for that to be, and it's your son or your daughter.
They
There's
deserve
no reason.
answers.
It should have never happened in Afghanistan, I can tell you that, the 13 that died. And you know, they don't mention there were many people wounded too, and I mean seriously wounded with the legs and the arms and the face. And we're going to give them everything they want. I've gotten it.
That's so awkward, man. He said everybody was wounded with the legs and the arms and the face. Like, what is he doing?
Know those families. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Sir, our next question tonight is from Angelina, who I believe is right here. If you want to come forward, Angelina.
Hi, Angelina.
Hi. Good evening, Mr. President.
Let me stand up for you. Go ahead.
My name's Angelina, and I was raised in a Philadelphia Democrat household, a union household. As a mother of a blended family, my top issues are the same issues that face all Americans. Illegal immigration hurts Black Americans. Inflation hurts Black Americans. And dangerous cities hurt Black Americans. Like my fellow Americans, my grocery bill has not gone down. Everything is still so very expensive. What steps will your administration take to help American families suffering from this inflation?
So, you know, it's such a great question in the sense that people don't think of grocery. You know, it sounds like not such an important word when you talk about homes and everything else, right? But more people tell me about grocery bills, where the price of bacon, the price of lettuce, the price of tomatoes, they tell me. And we're going to do a lot of things. You know, our farmers aren't being treated properly. And we had a deal with China, and it was a great deal. I never mentioned it because once COVID came in, I said that was a bridge too far, because I had a great relationship with President Xi. And he's a fierce man, and he's a man that likes China, and I understand that. But we had a deal, and he was perfect on that deal. $50 billion he was going to buy. We were doing numbers like you wouldn't believe for the farmer. But the farmers are very badly hurt. The farmers in this country, we're going to get them straightened out. We're going to get your prices down. But you asked another question about safety and also about Black population jobs and Hispanic population, in particular those two. So when millions of people pour into our country, they're having a devastating effect on Black families and Hispanic families more than any others. I think it's going to spread to a lot of other places. I think it's going to spread to unions. I think unions are going to have a big problem because, you know, employers are just not going to pay the price. They're going to, and it's a very bad thing that's happening. So they're coming in. Many are coming in from jails and prisons and mental institutions.
So far, nothing different than how he normally acts, but at some point, I guess he just drops off and doesn't take any more questions. But it looks like the entire time here, he's taking questions. At some point, he just starts swaying to the music like a weirdo.
Insane asylums, that's like, you know, a step above, right? Insane asylum. And whenever I go, Hannibal Lecter, you know what I'm talking about. They always go the fake news. That's a lot of fake news back there, too. But
wow.
They always mention, you know, it's a way of demeaning. They just say, Hannibal Lecter, why would he mention? Well, you know why? Because he was a sick puppy. And we have sick puppies coming into our country. I figure that's a lot.
He only takes 3 questions. I think this is the 3rd question then, so maybe after this one.
That's better than wasting a lot of words. You just say Hannibal Lecter, we don't want him, but they always sort of say, why would he say that? I do it for a lot of reasons, but I do it because we are allowing some very bad people into our country, and they're coming as terrorists. You know, you saw the other day, last month they had the record number of terrorists. I had a month. And I love Border Patrol. Did you see they gave me a full endorsement 2 days ago? Border Patrol. The Border Patrol. And they're great. And, you know, they want to do their job. They don't want to let these people come in. They look at them. They can tell. They can look at somebody, say good, bad. They say what's coming into our country now, it's having a huge negative.
I can't express how much I detest this dude. I know, you hate him. Hate him with a passion.
Negative impact on Black families and on Hispanic families and ultimately on everybody. And we're going to close that border so tight.
She seems a little uncomfortable being next to him.
It's going to be closed. And I said the 2 things I'm going to do. First, we're going to close that border and people are going to come in. You want people to come in. We need people to come in. People are going to come into our country legally. You know, it's so unfair. You have people that are waiting on a system, on a line, and they've been waiting on this line, you know how long? For years, 10 years, 12 years, and they study and they take tests, and then people come. I actually say, why don't you just just come on across. I tell people that it's terrible, right? I said, go out, you're incredible. They say, what can I do to speed up the process? I say, you know what, go to the southern border. I'll see you on the other side. It's so unfair. But we're going to have them come in legally. You have to see what they have to do. They take tests on, you know, who was the first one here? What date was this? What does 1776 mean? All this stuff. And these other people are coming in, and they're affecting the school systems, and they're affecting the hospital system. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, a town of 50...
Wait till the music starts. She looks confused AF. Oh, I'm ready. She's already looking like kind of awkward. Like, this is weird. Just ready. I'm just here for the cringe to see it just go off, you know?
50,000 people. They've just added 32,000 people, illegal immigrants, and we're not going to put up with it, and we're going to take care of your costs are going to come
Well, they took her mic.
down, and you're not going to have a problem with, because the biggest problem, and I'm hearing it from black people, and to a lesser extent right now, but it'll be the same, Hispanic people. And I'll tell you what, our poll numbers have gone through the roof. With black and Hispanic have gone through the roof. And I like that. I like that. I like that. So we're going to take care of it. You will be, I'll tell you, if everything works out, if everybody gets out and votes on January 5th or before, you know, it used to be you'd have a date. Today you can vote 2 months before, probably 3 months after. They don't know what the hell they're doing. But we're going to straighten it all out. We're going to straighten that out, too. We're going to straighten our election process out, too. That's going to be important also. So thank you very much, darling. We're going to get it straight. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelina.
All right, here we go.
Mr. President, we had in the last year over 800,000 Americans lose their jobs in this country.
They're still going with questions.
1.2 non-citizens took those jobs. They're filling the jobs that Americans could have to provide for their families. And Kamala Harris has been in charge of this border. She is the one who has been the border czar who has facilitated this invasion. I've always called it an invasion and a war zone down there because we see the criminals and the terrorists coming across.
It is an invasion like we've never seen before. And you know, if it was an invasion of people that deserve to come in or that will love the country, will be great. You know, she used to go around saying, they don't commit crime. Have you seen the gang from Venezuela, what they've done in Aurora, Colorado?
But it's only a few, according to Martha Raddatz. According to Martha, it's just a few apartment buildings.
And by the way, it's hundreds all over the country, and they're like me. They're in the real estate business, but they take it over with rifles. They take it over with a level of sophistication, because you know a lot about guns from where you come and you like it. And I'm a big protector of the Second Amendment. We've gotten totally endorsed. And if you think that's easy, it's not easy. But the NRA gave me total endorsement. I assume you got total endorsement. We have no choice. We have to have it. I mean, especially when you have, you know, it's amazing. These radical left lunatics, they want everybody to come into our country. Many of those people are criminals. And then they want to also take your guns away simultaneously. So they don't want your guns, but they want them to come in. So you need it for protection. You know, if somebody knows that you have a gun in your house, they say, let's go after somebody else. People put signs under this gun, or we have, some of them actually spell the kind of a gun they have. We have an AK-47 inside. And people say, you know what, let's just, and I knew about an AK-47 from a few weeks ago. And the AR-15, I know about that one too. I know a lot. But you know what? You have a lot of bad people out there, and you can't, you know, it just can't be a one-way street. You know one thing, because she wants to take your guns away, if you take them away, the bad guys are not giving them up. That's the only thing. I don't think the good people are giving them up either, you want to know the truth. But the bad guys are not giving up their guns. That's the only thing I know for certain, right?
It's true. You're true. Your J.D. Vance did a fantastic job on Sunday morning, calling out the fake news. Yes. For how they're trying to diminish the devastation that's going on in some of these communities. And Kamala Harris has facilitated losing 300,000 children as well since she's been in charge of the border. I always say that they're not missing children, that they are trafficked and kidnapped and murdered children because they've come across that border and we have no idea where those children are. And we know how devastating it is, what's happening to their lives right now with what she's facilitating.
I think that, you know, all bad numbers, we have a lot of bad numbers. There's so much bad happened in this administration. It's disgraceful. You know, as an example, there'd be no war with Russia and Ukraine. There's no way I get along very well with Putin. I fully understand what's happening. It was the apple of his eye. He used to talk about it. But I said, you're not going in. And he wasn't going in. It's only because of Biden. He looked at this guy. He can't even believe it. But the same with Ukraine. I got along very well with Zelensky, very well. In fact, he came to New York.
I'm going to fast forward and see if it happens.
And I got along very well with him. I'm going to negotiate that thing out.
Let's go here.
I love it. I love it. So, Mr. President, let's get back to our questions.
There we go.
We have Yanni, who's waiting to ask you a question, has been waiting a long time. Yanni, welcome. Just give them 1 second.
They said the mic's off.
Here they come. Right behind you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for being here today, Mr. President.
Thank you.
To answer questions from all the voters of Pennsylvania and just to work hard and show support. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm a small business owner in Lansdale. I have a small breakfast lunch restaurant, Coffee Corner. And thank you. And to be honest, Mr. President, I really, am praying for you to get in there and change the policies. Ever since the gas prices started spiking, I noticed literally everything started spiking, from deliveries to services, goods, even maintenance, overall maintenance. Everything just spiked up, and it's really hurting small businesses, small business owners, and those who work within them. So my question is, what's your plan to help bring common sense back and help small businesses that got destroyed by Democrats after COVID and the Biden administration?
So, great. Because small businesses are actually bigger than big businesses when you add them all up, and it's very important. And sounds like yours. I would love your food. I can tell by looking at that guy. I think I'd like to go over there.
Damn.
I am. If I'm over there, I'm going to stop.
Just call him fat like that.
But the fact is that, they want to get away from gas. And I have friends, they're into the cooking world. I'm not. I just like to eat. But they're into the cooking. And I don't know how you feel. It sounds like they feel that gas is much better than the electric for cooking, right? And they have this thing about, they want to put gas out of business, right? No gas. The amazing thing? We don't have electric in this country, but we have all the gas you can use. We have oil and gas. That's what we have. And even the cars, if you look, they want to go with all electric cars. California is having blackouts every week, brownouts, blackouts, and then they come up with rules and regulation to go to all electric, but they can't even supply what they have. It's so nuts. We're going to get, number one, your utility costs. You heard me say it before. Your costs will be down, and we're getting rid of all the and if you want electric, great. And if you want gas, great. The only thing you can't have is a hydrogen car, right? You heard me say that, right? Because you know what happens? They have a new car, they say it's great, but it's got one problem. You know what the problem is? Every once in a while, one will blow up. And if it does blow up and you happen to be inside of it, you're in bad luck because you're not recognizable. Do you know that? It's the new thing, hydrogen. I said, no, thank you, I don't want it. I don't want. They called the wife, that's not my husband. Oh, yes, it is. It's no good. So if we get your energy costs will be down by 50%. Your interest is going to come down, and people are going to start to make, not only you, people will have more money to go to your restaurant. You're going to have a great business. And during COVID, I was the one that worked out the loans. I don't know if you got one, but everybody, so many people got millions of small businesses.
He calls one of the heat victims fat. We haven't got to that part yet to even see anybody passing out or anything, but it should be coming up pretty soon.
And Linda McMahon was the head of Small Business Administration, which was a big business, but she was the head, and she was phenomenal. Linda McMahon was phenomenal. So many people tell me about her that she was one of the best secretaries, but Linda McMahon was in charge, and they loaned billions of dollars out to people with small businesses, and it was the greatest investment we made. It stopped us from going into a 1929 depression, which is exactly what we would have had. And she did a fantastic
She did a fantastic job.
We're going to get your costs way down. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Mr. President, my state, I always tell people it's hot in the summer, it's cold in the winter, and it's a long ways to drive anywhere, which I think a lot of Americans are experiencing, that no matter what, you're energy dependent. And since Joe Biden has been in the White House and Kamala Harris has...
I think right here. Let me go back a little bit.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Yeah, here's someone passed out. We should go back to horse and buggy already? No, thank you, sir.
Some problems. Some problems. That looks a little bad.
Okay.
That looks a little bit bad.
This must be where things fell apart. Unless they're panning out. See what's going on over there.
Don't worry, we'll extend for a little time, okay? We're not going to lose anything. We just want to make sure they're fine. This is a little bit of a tough one, I think. Little tough.
E-trike, huh? Let me see what that even is. That thing looks fun. Pretty sweet. Why are they breaking out in a song? Well, this is getting weird. All right.
You know, while we're waiting, so we had a beautiful evening, and I don't know if they could get this song up quickly, but if they could work really quickly backstage while we're waiting, Ave Maria. We had Ave Maria the other day in Butler, Pennsylvania, and Butler, we had 101,000 people. It was the most a celebration. Corey, I call him Corey the firefighter, the chief, he was great. And if they could play Ave Maria, if you can get it, Justin, let's go if you can. It's a little quick notice.
So this is when he asked for music, which they made it sound like a little bit more awkward than what it was. Okay, I get it. There's like a medical thing going on. For whatever reason, they don't want to talk over this stuff. So he's asking for music.
Ave Maria.
So yeah, they just start playing music. I guess that's the thing. Like, but they play it. Does it keep going? Yeah, it's still going.
So beautiful, though, right? That it's nice. He's gonna be okay. We have nice music. We're together. Not bad.
Yes.
Not bad. Right?
No more questions, please.
So beautiful.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, everybody, very much.
Thank you,
That's
everybody,
very
for your
nice. Thank
patience. Yes.
Weird.
We'll be praying for him. Yep. Thank you, sir. Sir, as we talk about how things have gotten harder under this administration and how Kamala Harris's policies have been so dangerous for the American people, there's someone here tonight who wanted an opportunity to ask you a question. Her name is Heather. And Heather, would you please stand? She's right here, and
Hi.
she is so thrilled to be talking to you tonight, Mr. President.
Good evening, President Trump. My name is Heather, and
Okay, so they're rolling again.
I was a registered Democrat for most of my life, but not
They
anymore.
booed her. Boo, lady.
She's on our
Look
side.
at now. Yes, I saw the light. I no longer identify with the Democratic Party. They've put criminals and foreign enemies ahead of American citizens. The border is the issue of this election because if we can't secure the border, we won't have a country. We know that you're going to finish the wall, but how are you going to handle the deportation of criminals?
So, if you've watched any of our last rallies, we have a Criminal Aliens Act of 1798. That's a long time ago. And it gives the president tremendous power to do what has to be done to secure our country. And you're right, so if you look at the polls, it says that the number one issue is the economy, number two is inflation, let's even put them together, and number three is the border. I disagree. I think I agree. I do agree with you. The number one issue this country has.
Oh, someone's hurt again. The guy said, "Put the AC on." They got another one.
Do you want me to go tell them so it's not?
Yeah, he's saying open the door. Yeah, get some air in there. What are you fools doing? People dying. And then they flip on the music again. What the hell? All right, Trump walks off the stage. What's he saying? Ask one of
Thank
my
you very
guys
much.
to come here.
Take your time, doctor.
And then what happens? Here we go. Going back to your chair? Nope, he's still standing.
Please raise your hand. You know what we could do, though? If my guys can do it, how about we'll do a little music. Let's make this a musical fest. Oh, looky. Oh, that's great. That's great. Because it's nice and cool outside, right?
Yes.
It's nice and cool. Why don't we do, and I mean this, if my guys can hear me, two things. Put up the chart, my favorite chart. My all-time favorite chart. And let's listen to Pavarotti sing Ave Maria. Can you hear that? They gave me the Ave Maria with no voice. There it is. That's my favorite piece of paper anywhere in the world. I sleep with it every night. I kiss it. I kiss it.
At one point, he tells people to vote on January 5th.
And you see those numbers, by the way, for those that we talked about, the
Wow.
border, when you're talking about the border, Look at the numbers. That was the lowest it ever was right there. That was the last day I was in office. And we're going to get it lower than that. But we're going to let people come in. We're going to let people come in. So very, very important. But there's one of my most favorite. If I didn't turn to the right, I wouldn't be here with you right now.
Those people are just cooking down there.
So it's a sort of a cruel world. But I was very proud of that before the fact. Now, even if it had lousy numbers, I would love that piece of paper a lot. So put on Pavarotti singing Ave Maria. Nice and loud. Turn it up louder. We want a little action here. Turn it up louder.
Awkward. So he just cranks the music and waves his arms around, and that's the rally, or town hall rather. I guess he stands up here and starts swaying. And she's swaying with him, kinda. Pointing at people, giving them thumbs up. All right, we're back talking.
Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing.
Yes. That's right.
We're going to win. We're going to win. If we win Pennsylvania, we're going to win the whole thing, right? So
Do you see what?
it's going to really be something. We just had some numbers coming out of Virginia, which is great. We have numbers coming out about, we win this Commonwealth. We win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We are in clover, and then we're going to fix our country, and we're going to fix it fast. We're going to fix it fast.
Just Trump being Trump.
So get that song done.
Okay.
Get that song ready,
Got
and
that
when
song
we leave,
pulled
we're
up?
going to have a beautiful. You could just sit. By the way, when we leave, you don't have to go so fast. You could sit and listen. We'll play a couple of songs. Some of you will be a little warm, but that's okay. It's not a bad thing. And if you want, we're going to do that. But I think it would be beautiful, don't you?
I think they all want to leave. They're hot. They're passing out. They're dying. What the hell is he talking about?
I think a little different.
I think it'd be amazing, sir.
Nice to have imagination. Isn't it a nice thing to have imagination? It's like when Kamala's teleprompter went out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
She was at 32 days. Did you see that?
I did.
She loses teleprompters, and you wouldn't know that she lost it. Me, I always lose. You know, if you're a politician, you can count on 5% of the time you lose a teleprompter, sometimes really badly, like in the middle of a sentence, and you're saying, ooh, that's a good, you got to have a good memory. If you don't have a good memory, you can't be much of a politician. They go out. Sometimes, if you're outside, the wind blows them down. I had one in Ohio. We had 45-mile-an-hour winds, and I said, I'm going to lose these suckers. And within about the first two sentences, they were gone. They
I remember
blew
that.
off the stage.
I was at that rally.
For Bernie Moreno, who's now doing very well, I understand,
He
the
is.
senator, so I think he's doing very well. But we'll listen to a couple of songs if you want, and that's okay with me. I like it. So we'll do that.
Nobody
we'll
cheered.
do those songs that we had mentioned, Justin. And if Justin doesn't get it right, he gets fired. Okay.
Sir,
Right?
I have a quote that I like a lot by John Wayne. It says, life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid.
Yeah.
I think that perfectly explains Kamala Harris, right? Right, sir? Now, our life has been hard because of her, but can you imagine what it's like to wake up as Kamala Harris? How hard life must be? My goodness.
Well, we have to beat her. Look, we
do.
have to beat her. She's not for this job. Everybody knows it. Look, we're running against,
We're ready.
not her, we're running against a very powerful and a very corrupt machine. That's what it is.
That's right.
She's just, and the same thing with Joe Biden.
Let's see where this goes. So
Let's send President Trump back to the White House.
So they pull up the music, and that's it, I guess. People stand up. Yeah, you can tell they want to get out of there. They're all passing out. They're all dying. Nobody wants to just be there listening to music. There's no ventilation. Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing just amazing. And then he starts swaying again. And that's just what goes down here. We're just swaying now. And at least we're shaking hands, meeting people. Like, we got some music. Still going. Okay, this is pretty much ending it. Weird. Waving. awkward smiling. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a little weird way to end a rally, but you know, that's Trump, I guess. All right, so I got this video for next time, Paul. I'm gonna put it right here. That way I got it saved. And I'll see what else is going on. But that seems like a good one. So I'll definitely be going with that one. Yeah, I'm gonna log off and, you know, go exercise the dog and all that. Have a good time. Thank y'all for hanging out. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.